Well, I was thinking about doing only feet.
Only feet? I'm sure it's there
Just
already. I guarantee you there is something there.
I was going to take pictures of my wife's feet without her knowing, and then
that's it. Whatever.
just post them up.
Yeah,
and then if she ever complains about, they're not your feet.
Whose feet? Whose feet are that? I've been selling Bitcoin.
In a world with an increasingly complex jiu-jitsu landscape, these two complete fucking morons are here to break things down and give you their unsolicited opinions in the most offensive way possible. We're talking about the Old Man Grappling Hour. Tune in and listen, and we'll have you wondering where that hour just went.
So welcome back again for another episode of the Old Man Grappling Hour. Today we have a surprise guest. We had another guest planned and that didn't work out because people get sick and things happen. But today we have a surprise guest, someone that is very dear to myself and Mr. Sonny Parlin, someone that we've been around for a very long time that is looking for some new opportunities possibly in the world. She is a BJJ purple belt, right? It's purple belt. BJJ purple belt. She is a kids instructor at Gracie Bradenton. And she is very beautiful and we love her to death. So how about Kate Young? Thank you for being on the show today. Yay. Round of applause. We have our applause machine. Very special guest, by the way, that you can't see on screen. We have producer Kara back in the house.
Kara might jump into the seat because I'm going to tell a story that she feels strongly about. That's okay. We'll get it all worked out.
Nice to have you back in the room, part of the show.
I like it better when she shouts from the side.
Of course.
That's more old school.
When you guys fight off screen.
Yeah.
that's the whole
old
show.
School Old Man Grappling Hour.
Old school. Remember we had the prompter? Yeah. When we used to do the
Remember
when
we called her Jamie because we wouldn't even let her have an identity?
So, Kate, how are you today? Is everything going all right?
Going good.
Good. Awesome.
No complaints.
Oh, no complaints at all. So, tell us about yourself. When did you start training jiu-jitsu?
Actually, we talked about it on the way up, trying to figure out the exact date.
Well, the folks at home would like to know too. So I'm extra cranky today.
Wow.
This has been a shit fucking week, man. I have no fucking. I'm good. I don't want to get too high because then I get weird.
Best estimate is September of 2017.
It is funny. I forget. It's not like you have that day forever memorialized when you get it is super important, but no one ever remembers when they get their birthday.
I know the month, but
right.
I couldn't tell you the day.
Right.
Well, what's crazy is she started almost 10 years exactly after I started.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I started 2009-ish, I think I started. 2008, 2009-ish, something
2009, yeah, I started, I started in 2007, September 4th. Of 2007. I actually remember the date.
That's kind of creepy. But
yeah, it is a little bit. but I, because I knew that, I knew pretty early on, wow, this is going to be a big deal in my life. Right. I should remember the date that I started.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
And I did.
It is.
So, so it's interesting that you started in September as well.
Yeah, I got the black belt deal. We were celebrating your black belt.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. Ride that wave out.
Yeah.
So.
As a gym owner, I've learned that you'll learn to make deals for every little. Oh, you got yourself one of those, huh?
Little Fitbit, yeah.
Yeah.
Watch my steps, 12,000 steps a day. 12,000 steps a day to better living. I'm telling you, it's amazing. I have not been working out much at all. I've been working with Connor, guest of the show, Connor Kovacs, Classic Coaching out there. If you're listening, there's a plug for you. And I literally walk 12,000 steps a day. It's about 5 miles. I make myself do it. I'll get up and go for a long walk. I live over in Tampa by the Riverside Heights. I go walk up and down the river walk, or I'll walk my dog around. And it's amazing how much better I feel low impact. Like I'm telling you, I don't want to even tell people to do jiu-jitsu anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did? I recently bought a mountain bike.
Yeah, so there you go.
And,
low impact ways to work out.
Yeah, and it's been great. I've been Opposite of you, I've been training a lot.
That shit'll really change your mind. So that little small little addition that really is nothing. You go out in the wilderness and you enjoy like getting some fresh air. You enjoy walking around like, on your freaking bicycle. Like that little bit, that small little change is really counts for so much. Yeah.
Now you do it at night, right? You go jogging at night.
Yeah, I like to night run.
So what is that? Is there benefit? Do you think she still reaps the benefits of being out?
I mean,
even though it's at night.
You're out in the fresh air. It's better than sitting on your fucking couch.
Yeah,
it's so hot to do it during the day. Though.
Yeah, during the winter months, I can do it during the day, but during the hot summers, no.
We've got about I've been pushing myself through during the days, and it doesn't bother me as much just because I'm used to the Florida weather, and I've trained in sweaty fucking. It's not enjoyable.
No, I like
it's much more enjoyable in like December or January when it's freaking 78 degrees outside and beautifully sunny. Mm-hmm. But we're not even hot yet. It's hot, but it's not humid yet.
But yeah, so she's been training since September, 2017, you said?
2017.
Yeah. And will be very soon becoming a brown belt.
Oh, wow, a little birdie.
Less than a month. Less than a month. I'm actually telling people now when they're getting belts.
Sure.
Unless I'm going to surprise them in the gym. Mm-hmm. Because like, how many times have you done a belt ceremony and the people you're trying to promote don't show up to the ceremony?
Then they don't get their fucking belt.
But I mean, it's like, dude, you're ruining the ceremony by not being here.
Well, I mean, you should want your belts. You should show up when I say come to a belt ceremony.
Well, I agree, but
I get it.
I'm just telling them to make sure they're there.
I understand. I do understand both sides of that. But like I've always been, I remember Matt would always say that. Oh, he's not here. Well, fuck him. I guess he ain't getting his belt. And then maybe he'd have a change of heart. But if you're on, because
oh, don't get on the bad side of your instructor.
When you are
never get promoted,
folks at home, kids, younglings at home that aren't black belts yet. If you're wondering how a belt promotion system starts to work, normally a collection of coaches will get together and discuss who is on the edge or who is due or who should get what promotions when. And based upon those discussions, we determine whether or not you're going to get your belt. So there are some people that are on the envelope, particularly like purple belt, brown belt, some of the higher level belts. Blue belts, you don't like blue belt. When you start going to purple belt, brown belt, black belt, there are definitely areas of like, well, if there's any doubt in my mind, especially purple belt, if there's any doubt in my mind that why you should not get promoted, then I'm going to wait until another 6 months. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Matt used to say that. Purple belt's a big deal. So don't let not showing up to a belt ceremony be that little bit that pushes you past the point of not being able to get your belt.
Hey, you make a very good point.
I mean,
Uncle Coach Kevin.
Don't be that guy. Don't be, you know what? Fuck him.
Bro, I got a couple guys where I'm like, hey, you're never getting your black belt ever. Ever. And if you go to a new school, I will call ahead. I don't care how much money this guy gives you. I'll give you more.
I'm in a weird place right now because I have black belt is an odd thing for me. The belt system in general, and maybe there's the old school guys that will say that's so wrong, but like I believe that every single person has their own criteria for advancement. You know what I mean? Based upon where you are physically, age, how
100%.
You know what I mean? Like a purple belt that is a competitor, ex-Division I wrestler that fights MMA is going to be a whole lot more involved and a whole lot tougher and a whole lot more efficient at jiu-jitsu than some 45-year-old man that just fucking is a father or two that wants to hang out and have some fun.
I just signed up a 70-year-old white belt.
Yeah.
70 years old.
Why not?
It's like, no, I get it.
Yeah,
but it's like I cannot hold this man to the same standards as anybody else.
But the point I'm trying to make is that first of all, like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, if you get one of the major criteria for me is, okay, can this person effectively defend themselves in a situation at any given level? And believe me, people that aren't trained, that don't really get it, don't realize how fucking helpless you are against someone that even has this much jiu-jitsu training. Like, any blue belt in the world that's got their blue belt, that's been training for 2 years, year and a half, like, they will kick your ass or at least be able to stay alive. Granted, you're not.
Sure.
to a certain extent. But if you're just Joe Blow drunk asshole and you go up against a freaking blue belt that's been training really solid, you're gonna get your ass.
In any in any sort of regular situation, barring
Right.
he's not running into like some NFL linebacker.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, there's always. I mean, but I wouldn't want to fight a fucking. I'll do it because whatever. But I wouldn't want to fight a fucking.
I wouldn't want to
NFL
fight it. You know why?
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I have an NFL linebacker.
Yeah, I know. It sucks.
As a purple belt.
It sucks.
Well, he used to be an NFL linebacker, and let me tell you, brother, this man brings the heat. He's 280 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, they suck. And
Like
he's not just
muscle.
muscle, but like 100% the highest grade, most athletic, explosive muscle mass.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about one of the premier.
I feel like he could
professional athletes in the
explode
world.
and kill everyone in the gym.
If you wanted to, exactly. What could you do
You've
to
rolled
stop
with
it?
Mark.
Oh yeah.
But that's the crazy thing is like Mark can also roll with her.
Yeah, and still be cool
And
with
be
it.
totally chill and cool. Classic coaching.
Classic Coaching. Classic Coaching is a service for all of your dietitian needs. Mr. Connor Kovac, former guest of the show, if you'd like to check him out. He's amazing. I've been working with him for probably about a year or so. I really feel great. My body is in great shape. I'm losing tons of weight, feel healthy. I'm on this anti-inflammatory diet. It's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. But he'll help you with supplementation, your hormones, anything you would need to help you get through a healthier life. Check out Classic Coaching, Classic with a K, Mr. Connor Kovacs, classiccoaching.com with a K.
Yeah, he's a beast. I mean, just look at the guy and you're like, man, I want that guy to coach me.
Yeah, absolutely. You want
Seriously.
kind of want to cuddle with you a little bit.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe you, but like, well, you're into that kind of thing. That's right. You work the gay pride parade. and everything.
Why not?
But yeah, no, he's a beast.
Yes.
He's very fit.
Classic Coaching, Mr. Connor Kovacs. Check him out. ClassicCoaching.com with a K. Katie?
Check them out.
All right. I trained an offensive lineman for the Bucks. This guy Garrett Gilkey that was 6'8", 330 pounds, but moved like me and you, like was doing technical stand-ups and forward rolls and like whatever, like hops around the gym like it was just me and you. Like it was insane seeing this massive person have the minute coordination as someone that weighed 200 pounds. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, but same
That's
thing.
what I love about Tyson. By the way, they've sanctioned that fight.
I did see that. Whatever. I'm curious about it. I still think it's a work. I don't care what anybody says. I still think it's a work. No, you'll never make me think otherwise. It's 100% a goddamn joke, and I'll watch. I'm still gonna watch it. I'm actually gonna expand it. But
it was actually her boyfriend Travis that looked it up and found the new.
Oh, Travis, Mr. Huggy Bear himself.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Huggy Bear.
I love that guy.
He's good.
I love that guy.
So, Kate went viral. Remember?
On
on Reddit.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you
do
tell your
remember
story about
that.
how you went viral?
We had a guy come into the gym, and his first question to me is that, are we hiring for coaches?
No. Wasn't it Masters?
Or masters.
That's right.
Yeah, he wanted to know if we were hiring any masters, and I said no, but it piqued my interest, so I asked him if he had any grappling experience.
So
or
just for clarification, we're not talking about masters as in masters division over 45. We're talking about he thinks he's like Sufu Ted and shit.
Yeah.
Like he's coming in to fucking like, oh, I got y'all.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Perfect.
So he says
Yes,
he
you
has,
have that correct.
he has zero experience and that he plans on learning on the job.
But he wants to be a master all
Right,
the
he'd
same.
like to coach, but he's gonna learn
Sure,
on the
right.
job. And I told him no.
Right.
And then he asked me if he would be able to fight for his right to be a coach.
Are you serious? Is this a real thing?
Yeah.
It's so funny because I haven't had one of these weirdos show up in my gym yet.
They're coming.
Like I know it's coming.
They're coming.
I know it's coming.
I had a call yesterday. I can tell you.
I haven't
God.
I've had people that I kind of suspect that are old school martial artists, and then like along the line, then we just let them roll, and then they never come back again. But no one has actually vocalized, like no hillbilly's been knocking on my door. Hey y'all, I'm gonna try out this jiu-jitsu shit,
This
see what
guy
it's all
wanted
about.
to fight for his right to be an employee,
That's
which
fucking
I
amazing.
said yes to. I said, come on in. And we walk into the mat room, and he goes, are all these guys black belts? And I was like, yeah, which one?
Well, you don't get to the black belts first because we're not wasting the black belts' time. You got to make
Well,
it
it
up
was
to Riley.
mostly black belts that
Yeah,
day.
Yeah,
the
right,
morning
right,
class, it
right.
was John
Yeah.
Turner and Travis and Brett and like
Oh,
all the
Jesus.
big boys.
All
Of
right,
course,
so-
I
so-
wasn't there, of course.
Of course, the one day you want to be there, right?
Right.
And,
Exactly.
he ended up just kind of whimpering his way out the door.
So he didn't want to treat.
No.
He
But
didn't
we
take
took
the
the
Pepsi
video
challenge.
clip of that because we had a camera pointing into the lobby.
Right.
We took somebody, I don't know who, maybe Travis.
It was Travis, yeah.
Took the video clip of that and put it onto Reddit.
And then it became a thing.
And then like it blew up. And then like...
Well, that's one of those things that you hear about, but you know it happens. But when you have actual video footage, like Bigfoot pictures, like you hear about that shit, but until you actually see a picture of it, it's not real. No one cares about your Bigfoot story unless you got a picture of fucking Bigfoot walking in the fucking woods.
That could go either way. Because like I have footage of me taking care of a gym sort of invader, and it's not pretty, and so I don't want to put it up.
Right. Yeah, but I mean,
It's a good video, though.
I guess you're right.
There is video.
Sometimes the stories are even better. So that's great. Master Teddy didn't want to
No,
fuck
he didn't
around.
want the smoke.
Like, what the fuck do people think? Like, what gears turn in people's brain?
It's the cunning. Was it the Dunning-Kruger effect?
You know, I mean,
that's what it is.
I assure you that a great deal of it comes from what Joe Rogan always talks about, not having the realization of what real violence is. Because people that know what violence is don't go out looking for it. So when you talk about what makes jiu-jitsu great is because we can recreate violence in a safe environment over and over again. You talk about some asshole that took fucking whatever fucking Kinchu karate this fucking ding-dong went through. So like he's never really been in a fight. But there's an urge for him to feel like he needs to defend the fact that he can defend himself, which would probably, I don't know what the fuck makes people do these things. I'm just trying to figure it out.
I think
Stupidity plays a big role in it, too.
Which is why you would sign up for fucking
The guy
Sinfu
that
Karate.
broke into the car in the parking lot came back. You remember him?
Yeah. Yeah, so we had a guy who tried to break into one of our cops' car.
Which is one
of
of my
our students who's a
favorite-
cop.
One of my favorite Sunny stories, by the way.
Yeah.
No Judges Needed is by far our OG sponsor. Mr. Troy Regano from NoJudgesNeeded.com has been with us for a very long time. One of our original sponsors, been taking care of me and Sonny forever. Sonny is wearing
I'm
the
actually
No Judges
repping
attire.
No
I am
Judges
wearing
Needed shirt
nothing
right
No Judges
here.
Needed, but if you notice on the poster, No Judges Needed NJN, they are our official sponsor. So should you have any jiu-jitsu requirements, hit them up at nojudgesneeded.com for all of your gis, rash guards, fight shorts, anything, t-shirts, hats, bags, anything grappling oriented. Check them out, nojudgesneeded.com. The lovely Kate, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Absolutely.
Do you have some No Judges Needed swag?
I have a little backpack thingy.
Oh, okay. Well.
She's here to look pretty, Sonny. Let's just move on. NoJudgesNeeded.com. Check it out, folks.
Boom. He broke into the car, and the dude who owns the car looked out the window and saw him like holy shit. So he ran out, and he grabbed this kid. He grabbed him, pulled him out of the car, double legged him, and his legs went like up in the air and then came down. And then Brett went out there and was like doing Neon Belly. All these guys went out there to help. And I had a broken leg. Like my knee was...
Yeah, it was in your knee was fucked up.
My knee was bad. And so I had to like hobble out behind them.
He's not doing it justice. They already had this. They had the situation controlled. This guy was on the ground, hands behind his back. Everybody was calm. And Sonny comes stumbling out the door screaming, "You're under arrest, you're under arrest."
She's not wrong. That did
And
happen.
the guys that were out there were like, "Sonny."
They were telling me to calm down. I was just pissed. I hate thieves.
No.
You know?
And what person would think it would
But
be a
that
good
dude
idea
came back like the other day. Like he just came back to the gym.
just to come in and say hi, check up on people?
He came in because he wanted to apologize to the person whose car he broke into. That guy wasn't there at the moment. He still trains with us, but he just wasn't there at class that time.
How long ago did the actual freaking...
I was like,
Like a year or two ago.
yeah, a couple of years ago.
I kind of remember when that happened.
Right.
But didn't you have something else? Didn't somebody else, the cop, come recently? Wasn't there somebody else in the parking lot that said that shit happened to? Or was it a different story? Or
as,
same
cute
story?
as she always is, noticed there was a woman and a man arguing furiously in the parking lot. And then all of a sudden, the dude like reaches into the car and grabs a little baby up and starts.
God.
Like violently
Yeah,
rips this
rips
little
the
baby
kid
out of the
car.
mother's arms
Jesus
and
Christ.
starts walking away, and the mom starts losing her shit.
Oh my God,
So
what the fuck?
I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I know that's not good.
Right,
so-
exactly. That's not the right
So
way to
she's
handle
like,
things.
Sonny, there's a kidnapping. And I'm like,
Dun, da, da, da.
Right. Exactly. I took my thing
Oh, we went
with
running
my
right
costume
out there.
underneath, and I went and I was like, "Sir, you cannot leave with that baby." he's like, "It's my baby." I'm like, "That may be so."
Still doesn't change my statement.
Right. We're going to wait for the police, and then they actually calmed down.
Yeah.
They all calmed down, and I told the dude.
What was the deal? Was it
They
the
were
wife
just
or?
arguing. Yeah, the
fighting.
husband and wife
Yeah,
arguing.
you can't just snatch
Yeah,
a
you
goddamn
can't just
baby, dude. What are you
snatch a
doing?
kid.
The way the baby was grabbed is
Like,
what
what the
got me.
fuck
It
is
wasn't
wrong
like
with you?
handing
Yeah.
a baby off. That baby was just
Like if that's your
snatched.
baby and you want to fight over it, like what the fuck are you doing? That's not really should be your baby anymore.
Right.
You obviously shouldn't be
It
taking
was
care of that
bad,
baby.
though. Like, you never want that.
Right.
So anyway, they were fine.
Yeah, but I mean, these are all the crazy, kooky things that happen at the gym. I had a guy one time. This is a weird one. So I had a parent one time that these mother was divorced. She came in with her new boyfriend. They both signed up. They had 2 kids. The kids signed up. It was a whole freaking thing. So the kids would train, and sometimes like they would grandparents would take them or something like that, right? Well, one night after kids class, about 7:00, this rando walks in and goes, "Hey, I'm here to see so and so," the kids' names, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, our kids' class is over. You know, usually it's 6:30," which I wasn't thinking. I just told him anyway. I was like, "Oh, kids' class usually runs from 5:30 to 6:30. Like, you know, you just missed them. Like, by the way, who are you?" He goes, "Oh, I'm their dad." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever, their dad and shit like that." So like, I didn't really think about it. And then he left, and I was like, you know what, man? Like, I better follow up with this and make sure, because why the hell wouldn't the dad know like what time his kids are going to be training and all this shit like that? So I called mom, and she was like, "Oh no, like he's not supposed to be around the kids. Like he has to have full visitation. He does this stuff all the time. Like you
shit.
need to like make sure that doesn't like, or you know, wasn't upset with me, but was like, thank you very much for contacting me and let me know what's going on. Just be aware that like so and so is supposed to be there." So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like the guy didn't look dangerous.
Did the guy
but-
ever come back?
Oh God, dude! Of course he came back again.
Oh,
So-
no.
First of all, he came in before class started. Like class starts at 5:40 or whatever, 5:30 for my kids' class. He came in about 5:25, and thank God the other kids are running late. So I see him inside. He goes, "Hey, I'm here to see Grace," or I shouldn't say their name. "I'm here to see the two young girls that are here to see," and shit like that. And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, just stay here." And I'm like, fuck. So
Wait right here.
Yeah, so I go out front and I call mom, no answer. And I'm like, shit, I better hang out here for a few more minutes. And just then I see the little girls with granddad walking up. And I'm like, "Hey girls, how you doing? Come over here for a second." You know, and then I look at granddad, I'm like, "Look, I just want you to know that the girl's dad is here. I don't know if he's supposed to be here. I don't know what the hell is going on, but he's here right now. So you need to just be aware of that shit." So granddad's like, "Okay, yeah, let me get the girls and go." And he's like, "Girls, sorry, we can't do jiu-jitsu today. Something happened, blah," and left. Well, I go back inside and I'm sitting there for a minute, and the guy comes up and he's like, "Hey man, you think they're gonna be here or not?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." And he won't leave, and I'm teaching class, and he's over in the corner like waving at me. And at the time I had Big John, you know Big John, that purple belt from
Oh,
guy
yeah.
you see
Yeah, from that tournament.
yeah, that from
Yeah, that guy's
WEC.
a
He's
hoss.
he's a monster. He was in a WEC, and I have Tom McCallhan, I think it is, black belt Tom, a couple other of my dudes.
Oh, Tom
in there.
McCauley.
Yeah, Tom McCauley, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the mat, and I'm eyeballing this guy as he waves to me, and I come I'm like now I'm done. Like I can't handle this anymore. And I look, because I don't know this guy from nobody.
Right.
Like he could be dangerous, and I kind of look around to make sure that people are watching what's going on, because I've already filled him in on what's up.
Right.
And like I just see all of them just like laser focused. Like I'm like, all right, I'm good. Not that I was worried about it, but it's a lot more comforting when you got Big John having
Right.
your back.
Right. But also, you don't want to scene either.
Yeah, you don't want to see it. Exactly.
Right.
Like I'm trying to do this as
Right.
politically as possible, but just make sure this guy knows, don't ever fucking come back here again, or I'll
Right.
put you through a fucking wall.
Right,
So
exactly.
I walk up to the guy and I'm like,
But there's parents.
yeah,
You
but
can't
there's
say
parents
that.
there too, and and he's
You
like,
can't threaten.
so I'm like, hey, so did you call mom and find out if they're gonna be here? He's like, no, man, like, oh, just fucking showed up. I'm like, well, cool. So next time you come in, make sure you talk to mom and dad and find out when they're gonna be there instead of just showing up at my gym. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, no. Don't ever come back here again. Like, get the fuck out. And don't, in political terms, and trying to say with my voice, you were very, very close to me not caring anymore. And the parents would probably applaud me and give me a medal for kicking the shit out of their piece of shit dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, he left and never came back again. But it was one of those things that we still laugh about at the gym. And it's just cautionary tale for those out there that don't know. Like, we live in a very weird world with separate parents and all that other shit like that. Never ever divulge information about a child, no matter what the person says. If you can't communicate with the other parent to find out when the kid's going to be in, don't.
That's a big
ask
thing
somebody else.
when you're doing summer camps. It's like you have to have those forms that say like what are the names of the people who can pick up your kid,
Right.
and
you
so
don't release them to anybody that's not on that list.
right.
No, because the kid doesn't know. Kid's like, sure, I'll go.
Yeah,
Tony, yeah, Tony's great.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's really important because that shit happens. That's how kidnappings happen. Pop, dad, or mom, whatever shows up to like dance.
Yeah.
Here to pick up my kids.
Yeah, drunk or whatever. Yeah. So, Katie.
Yes.
Catherine. Mrs. Young. You teach kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because no one believes me. I have found a hidden mutant ability, hidden talent that I didn't know I had, which is training kids. Like, I will tell you, I swear to you.
Kate was pretty bad at first. I had to teach her everything.
Right.
My
You put her,
numerous years
Sonny,
of
her
being a teacher
mentoring.
prior had
Yeah. After numerous years of mentoring, she now finally can call herself.
Were you in elementary school? Were you a teacher before?
kindergarten.
Oh,
mostly.
that's
So, yeah,
awesome.
I've
So
been
you're
working with
you're
kids
a natural.
forever.
Right.
So it was kind of a natural progression to me to kind of put jujitsu and my love of teaching together. But it's a skill set all its own, teaching kids. Like, you can know jujitsu very well and you can communicate that information to adults. But teaching a 4 to 5 year old that doesn't even know where they are half the time, it can be really hard to get them to not only listen to the information, but then also digest it and apply it.
Right.
It's like teaching a high student, like an adult when they're high.
Pretty
It's
much.
exactly the
That's
same.
which is why maybe.
But even just like keeping their attention on you, especially that very young age group, can be really difficult. So I find myself teaching class like an episode of Blue's Clues. Like, oh no, I forget where to put my hand. Who can help me?
It is 100%, especially the little ones, like 4, 5, and 6. 8 and above, you can start. All right, shut up and listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get it together. I'm not playing the game. I just taught the babies. Y'all need to pay attention. But
Yeah.
I do 4, 5, and 6 year olds, mostly 5 and 6 year olds, some 4 year olds. But it's 100% performance art.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is 100%. You got to get in your
You have
like.
to be more interesting than
Let's
anything
do
that's
this
happening outside
thing.
the window.
This
or
is
in
the
benches.
coolest thing in the world. And literally, like, I probably only teach them the same 8 things in rotation over and over and over again. I show them a couple. So I show them a bum sweep, show them scissor sweep, an arm bar, like maybe a guillotine, like a few things, and we just rotate them. Take down.
And
just,
by the time you circle back around, they don't remember.
they don't remember.
It's new again.
But would you find, and this is something that I find curious, obviously equally as rewarding too, that like children have a knack for learning despite themselves. Like I use this analogy a lot when I talk about the difference between like teaching a kid and teaching an adult. Like, I will teach a private lesson or a class. Say you teach a class with 4 adults in it, white belts, never trained before. Like, them fuckers will be hanging off every word I say, like it is like the word of God, and laser focus on everything, and go back and back to try to do the technique and be like, and I become close. And I can teach that same technique, granted, if it's easy and manageable, to a bunch of 4, 5, and 6 year olds, and they'll be talking off. I'll have to spend half the classes getting them to pay attention.
Yep.
But their attention
they can do
isn't
it.
not much different. Like, it's amazing how geared they are to pay attention and stuff like that. So what do you do about that? I mean, do you as a teacher of younglings, do you have to kind of just, because I do you have to just kind of accept the fact that you're never going to get all of them? You're going to do your best, but the results work out.
I have techniques that I use to make sure that they're laser focused on me, especially while I am explaining how the move is done. Like I said before, I make it like an episode of Blue's Clues. I ask them a lot of questions. I ask them a ton of questions while I'm showing a move. And if I notice that one child in particular, I'm starting to lose them, they're looking at the ceiling, I'll say, John, where do I put my leg now? Do you remember the next step? When usually I'll ask the whole class, but I'll target one kid if I notice I'm losing him.
Right. To make him realize that it'll bring him right back because he doesn't want to feel bad.
And then we play like a 30-second game at the end of the class. It's basically red light, green light, but we say roll and tap for the red light and the green light. But whatever kid paid the most attention, tried the hardest during
usually
drills,
the one that wins.
they get to choose how they're going to move down the mat, whether it's going to be bear crawls, arm crawls.
Oh, nice. So they get a reward system.
But it's like 30 seconds of my time.
Yeah.
And it means so much to them to be the kid that gets to choose. So they're paying attention just so they can be that kid.
So I got to do a better job.
All right, Laheel Biogenics.
Laheel Biogenics, absolutely phenomenal company for any of your peptide stem cells.
I recommend people to them all the time.
Yeah, which one do you usually like, Sonny?
The peptide 5293.
Yeah,
or the IDF 72.
Yeah, absolutely. They have anything that you would require peptide wise. I've been doing peptides for a long time. I'm actually no longer on TRT, and my levels are amazing. I got my blood work back, and it's all due to the peptides.
That's why you're grumpy.
That's why I'm grumpy. The peptides are available for order. We also have stem cells. I had stem cells work on my arm. They got lasers, sharks with laser beams.
Yeah.
Miss Stacy.
But the most important thing, I was just going to say, the most important thing about Laheel is like they're awesome people. All of them.
Super great people.
The people
great
I've met, I've only met two of them, but
me and Sonny have a great relationship with them. If you're interested, check out LaheelBiogenics.com. This message is approved by the lovely Kate. Thank you very much for being here. Kate, say hi to folks at home.
Hi, folks at home.
Awesome. Check out LaheelBiogenics.com. I use a ball game. And I'm bad because I never hold him accountable. Like the rule is, like maybe twice in the entire 3 years I've been teaching kids, like I'll take the ball game away from them. But there's always the threat of you guys don't have to play a ball game.
The threat of it.
But they like it's insane. They don't care about anything with that ball game, and it's for about a minute at the end of class. But what I need to do a better job of is specifically either rewarding or
one thing
punishing
that
them.
I have learned, and not just in teaching jujitsu to children, but in my entire time teaching children, they remember empty threats. If you say, if this happens, then this happens, and you don't show them that direct correlation or you lack on it sometimes, they're never going to count on the punishment. So if you always say, I'm going to take away the game, they stop caring because you don't follow through.
You hear that, Mom? That's why I have no accountability. You never follow it through. You always let me get away with everything.
Yeah, Mrs. Gallagher.
Like whenever I tell something to the kids, I mean it. If I kind of lose patience for a second and I say, you don't get to play the game today, I don't change my mind even if I feel bad, because they need to know that I mean what I say. Yeah. So when I tell them, hey, you're in danger of not playing the game today, it snaps them right back into it.
I'm going to start doing a little better job of that.
But you don't have to take it away from the whole class either. Singling them out. I give my baby class, they get 3 warnings. And if they get to their 3rd warning, they have to stay on the wall while we play go and tap. And they have to sit there and watch, and they don't get to play.
I'm going to start doing more of that and
I
single them out individually.
Hit 3 warnings.
But I mean, they're all little shit sometimes. But like but they're
also
funny.
The funniest class.
And that's the hard part because they're so cute.
Give me the finger the other day because she was trying to show me her chip nail polish. She said, "Look, Coach Kate," and I said, "Show me all your fingers. Let me see all of them."
One of the things that surprised me, because I recently started sitting in on some of Kate's classes, and just every once in a while I'll pop in and teach, and I was shocked. Like one of the reasons why I never really wanted to teach kids, I always wanted to have a kids coach, is because I really didn't understand or believe that kids had the capacity to actually learn this stuff and be good at it. Like, how can I tell a kid, to do a knee cut pass? He's gonna look at me like I got 3 heads.
I have some really sharp.
But these
kids
kids are sharp, man. Like they're smart.
I mean, but dude, Sonny, just to defend that a little bit. This is something
I mean,
that I've
look,
noticed.
I'm just saying, like, I just didn't realize like the kids were as smart as they were.
How many white belts have you taught over the course of a year and have
Many,
this is a
many.
but this is a knee slice pass, this is a knee slice, and then not even come close to anything close to a knee slice pass for fucking
That's
6 months.
true. That's
Like
true.
Jiu-jitsu's difficult. It's hard. And that's the one I have a hard time. I think it's universally agreed upon that the hardest part about working with kids is dealing with the parents sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, parents. I love you, but
We
it's-
actually had to remove kids from the program where it had nothing to do
just
with
their
the kids
parents were so
being-
horrible, and it's like you're becoming
your kid now.
you're hurting your kid, and you're becoming a distraction that means you just can't be here anymore. But I have conversations with parents a lot, and it always makes me crazy. Like I'll have conversations with parents of like 6-year-olds that have been training for like 2 months, and they just look at me and they go, I mean, I just don't think my kid's picking it up. I mean, like they don't,
I have that
they're not doing anything.
conversation all the time.
And it's
All
like,
the
what are
time,
you
man.
talking about? Like, first of all, your kid is 6.
Yeah.
Your kid's 5. Like, cut him a little break here, hon. Like, and my answer to them always is, okay, you think you can do it? Well, we got adult classes. Why don't you come try one out? You see how hard this shit is.
I have a little girl in my program, and I won't say her name, but she is exceptional, and she bumped.
Why
up-
not? If she's exceptional, go ahead, shout her out.
No, it's a child, and I don't know if
All right,
Good point.
fine.
Thank you,
So,
Sonny.
she is absolutely exceptional. She bumped up into the big kid class, the 7 to 10-year-olds at age 5.
Wow.
Because she was capable.
Right.
And she never once fell behind, didn't struggle. Like she jumped right into that program and she kills it. Now she's now 7, but she's tapping out like 9, 10-year-old boys.
Yeah.
And all the kids that were in the baby class with her at the time saw her bump up. And then I had all of those parents coming to me asking like, oh, we want our kid bumped up. We want our kid bumped up. And that's been a big struggle with me is I find a lot of parents sometimes will try to tell me like where their kids' progress, how their kids' progress is and what class they belong in. And a couple of times I'm like, okay, let's test your theory, and I have their kid jump into that big kid class, and guess
And it
what?
don't work out.
It doesn't look the
But
way
we
they
know
thought
where
it was
know
gonna.
how we're doing. And then the other one, I have this. This happened to me a few times too. You have parents that bitch and complain that their parent, I want my kid in the advanced side. I want my kid higher up, and you put him over there, and they're like, oh, my kid's getting his ass kicked. It's because you put him where he's not supposed to be. Like I told you that this was going to happen, but like, hey, whatever. Let's run with it. You're the boss. I don't care anymore. Like, go on. Sorry, Timmy. But like I see that.
Also, Kate's much more diplomatic than I am. That's why it's better.
It's hard.
that she handles
He
those
lets me handle
relationships.
any HR type.
Yeah, she has full autonomy. Like she can literally, like she can kick someone out. Like she could do whatever she wants. Like she
I've
has
had
autonomy.
I've had a great deal of customer service experience in my life as bartending and fine dining. I was an asshole when I did that too, but like I have a better I have a very like one of my strong points as a business owner instead of just as a jiu-jitsu coach is being able to talk to people and analyze things on the fly and find out how to make people happy and put fires out and shit like that. But parents are tough, man. Parents make it hard.
No, I got into it with a set of parents somewhat recently, and it's frustrating because I really care about what I do. I really love doing the kids' classes, and like I'm not there for just a paycheck. I'm really passionate about what I'm doing.
Of course.
There.
It's fun. It's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's super rewarding to see some kid that you work with.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's like, and it's over the long haul. You don't see it day by day unless you've got, sometimes there are kids that are amazing. Like sometimes there's kids that come in there that are 5 years old and it's like, I don't know how you are doing a perfect double leg right now and getting into, I never taught you that, but it's like, who taught him a double leg? I was like, I don't know. And it's like, holy shit. Like it's insane how tough they are. They're just born with it. They're naturals.
But you pour so much emotionally and time-wise into these kids, and then having parents come back at you aggressively because they think their kid should be in the advanced class or their kid should be in the next class up or this or that. It's like, trust me, if they belong there, I'd put them there. I wouldn't hesitate.
Yeah,
I
want. Don't you think I want to find a freaking phenom or a freaking prodigy and move him up? Absolutely. I love you, but your kid's not him.
Yeah.
And these parents, they don't get that, and they're
But
super
they get
hot.
offended.
They
Like
get
I'll
offended.
outright tell
They'll get
parents
offended.
that little girl, I was like, she's my standard.
Right.
If they are as good as she was, then they can bump
Right.
up. Haven't run into another one. Though.
And then I've lost people because I will be like, okay, like whatever, we're gonna put your parent. I'll put them up with the big kids. I'll put them up with the big kids, and they get their ass kicked, and the kid quits, and I'm like, okay, well that's what you get.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I tried to avoid this. I believe it or not, I've got a little experience. I've done this shit for a living, and it's my place. I'm not a fucking asshole. I know what the fuck I'm doing here.
So for me, the biggest struggle with kids' classes is the huge disparity in attitude. So you have kids that are in there that love jujitsu, just want to like stay focused on that. They want to improve. They want to learn the new moves. They want to be able to use them live. So they're all about drilling. And then I have kids where the mom is like, get in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
They don't want to be there.
Right.
And they're doing it because this is what their parents want them to do. And trying to find a way to teach to these kids where I'm giving these kids that are thirsty for it enough water, but
Right.
also making sure that these
sure the
kids
other ones have
drink
fun.
too,
Right. People don't get that shit. Like, and as someone that, I've seen good parents and I've seen bad parents. And I don't know one is the other or whatever. Sometimes there's an overlapping or whatever. But like parents that push their kids so aggressively into things that maybe the kid doesn't even want to do, and then make them do it and make them follow these crazy regimens, and they get all crazy when they don't accomplish their goals. Like I've seen parents like belittle their children to tears and then get mad at them for crying. Like we're talking like 7, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds. Like
You just made me think of something funny.
but you want to look at him and be like, dude, like what? I mean, you're the parent, so it's on. I don't get involved in that. When I see a parent do things like that, I'm like, okay.
Dude, they care a lot. I have another little girl in my program that's 10 years old who's an absolute beast. I mean, she is slaying these like 15, 16-year-old teenage boys. And there's this one kid that was taking classes for a while that every time he rolled with her, he would cry. He would bawl his little eyes out. And the dad eventually started saying that, I will give you $10 if you can make it through a round with her without crying.
Right.
And she was in earshot of that. And I looked at her and she goes, never going to happen. Never going to happen.
But that's the thing though, man. Like I try because I try my best to make things happy. And I think a lot of these parents, again, I think if some of them were to take a class, they would recognize how hard this shit is, because I'll make you cry. Like, don't think I won't. Like, I will push you to a point. You might not cry, but you're gonna go home and have a little tear, gonna get a little misty on the way home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I won't do it on purpose, but that's what jujitsu is. They don't know how hard this shit is, and then they get in their kids' faces, and I got like kids cry. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't condone
that's another
it.
thing that's it's funny because there's some parents like Kyle Koziel, right? Kyle Koziel had parents that were very like his dad specifically would like push him and if he didn't win would kind of be down on him a little bit. And it's a different world, that wrestling world, because that's another thing. It's people talk about the differences between wrestling and jiu-jitsu all the time, but something that doesn't really get brought up too much is like the attitude. It's like a lot of times in a wrestling match when you lose, like you're a piece of shit. Like it's not like in jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, you lose a match and everyone's like, "Oh, it's okay, man. Like you did really well. You tried your hard."
Well, the other side of it too is that it really matters. Like because most people that are wrestling competitively during a wrestling season, like you were trying to get your record to a certain point so you qualify for whatever, or get a better seed in your next division. Jiu-jitsu doesn't really have that as much.
No, our background is surfing and
yeah, but I mean, even if you have a random tournament, some of them do. I guess the IBJJF does a little bit more now, and
right.
But it's a little bit different, competitively, because you're only going for one particular season too. There's a little bit difference. Like if you drop a match in a wrestling season, well, that could be the difference between you becoming a state champion or not, because now you're going to get seeded shitty, or you might not even make the tournament. You see what I'm talking about? So there's a little bit more to that, the anxiety of it. But you're right, though. Wrestling parents, it's just the sport's a little bit tougher. But I still will never, ever doubt and never, ever change any views on the fact that when a kid cries, you don't fucking smack them and tell them quit crying. You fucking put your shoulder on him and say, "Hey, dude, you're okay. Why don't we relax? Why don't you get it together? It's not that big a deal. Show them a little compassion. Get your shit together, because then you turn into some asshole that loses his shit at a fucking bar one night."
Well, look, what my mother always told me was like, if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about.
Right. Yeah. And look how you turned out.
Almost every time one of the kids cries in the kids class, it is almost never that they're hurt, always that they're frustrated.
Yeah.
And learning how, and that's part of jujitsu,
That's part of
man,
jiu-jitsu.
is like learning how to like feel that way and then deal with it and let it go.
How do you channel your aggression or your sadness or your aggravation? And remember that, because it sucks. You know what I mean? If you're in pain and you repress that pain because of that, right? You are no longer experiencing what that pain is. Therefore, you no longer recognize, this really sucked. I don't want this to happen again. What do I do now to channel this into a positive direction? Right? If you just suppress it, it doesn't do shit. It's like it never happened.
Festers.
And that's what these kids do. They do it on small compartmentalized spaces because they're not mature enough psychologically to understand when and where to have this appropriately. So they cry about everything.
Yep.
And now the point is like, okay, you're frustrated. That's cool. You're crying right now. Why are you crying? Okay, cool. Well, let's figure out what we can do to get you past that point. Keep it from crying.
And if they stick with it, they become a new kid. I had parents recently come up to me and thank me because their child, when they first signed up like a year and a half ago, was very, very emotional and like a little bit of a baby. And over the last year and a half, it's been a complete transformation. And the dad is like, this kid used to go like that, and the kid would cry. And now the kid will like bash his head off a wall and be fine.
And that's what you're teaching them.
Yeah.
That's what you teach them. Because a lot of they recognize those cries as immediately, now I either get out of trouble or I get attention from my parents or I get to stop doing something that I don't want to do.
Right.
So some of them will be like, I broke my hand, or and you're like, okay, and I'll give them, like, whenever a kid, a little one comes up to me and goes, I broke my hand, I'm immediately, I've been around fighting long enough to know,
you know when it's real.
if I touch your hand and it's broken, you are gonna rip that thing out of my hand because it hurts like hell. But if I'm squeezing on your hand and you're
a lot
fine,
of times when kids lose a match, they'll grab a
pretend like-
limb and
Right.
start crying.
that's a little bit different though. But I get it. But like, if
But
a
still,
kid,
it's they're
it's the same thing.
feigning
One of my-
injury
Yeah, that's
because
what-
they're really upset.
but they want to show,
But they don't want to show that they're crying over the loss. They're going to cry either way.
Yeah,
so you
they
might as
all
well
the
get
time
you to
in
think
kids
that
classes, they act like they're hurt. And one of my most common sayings that I say during kids class is, "Good thing you're tough."
right.
Because they'll say, "Oh no, my arm." Good thing you're tough.
they
bud."
start to toughen back up again. So, former guest of the show, Mr. Charlie Keenan. We're here to talk about his amazing physical therapy company, Rewire.com. Again, like I said, former guest of the show, very intelligent kid, really knows his stuff. I've worked with Charlie now for probably 2.5 years, and it's amazing how good my body feels. Basically stationed in the Tampa or Newport Richey, Carrollwood, Trinity area right now. However, Charlie is amazing if you want to travel to see him, even if you just want to come for 1 or 2. If you have an injury that needs to be worked on, or you want to get your overall health better off. Charlie Keenan, Rewire.com. Sonny, got anything?
he's a brilliant magician. This man will fix you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Katie?
I agree.
Absolutely.
My lower back was killing me. I went to go see him. He fixed me right up.
Straight up and down.
Boom.
Like a goddamn.
Yep. Like erect.
Right. Rewire.com. And it's weird because it's funny how the psychology of one to the other helps. Like now, if you were to go to that kid and be like, "What are you doing crying? There's nothing wrong with you. Go sit over there and keep crying." The kid doesn't learn a lesson. They get scolded because they're upset. Now, if you take that same kid and you go, "Okay, let me see your hand, honey. It's okay. Let me squeeze I think you're gonna be okay. How about you want to try to finish the round out and see how it goes? I think you're tough, right? Or hey, why don't you go sit this one out and then we'll play the ball game." Then they realize, like that hurt.
Where
But it's
does
nothing wrong with me.
You approach them with kindness, but you don't let them get away with anything.
Yeah.
That's that's like my whole method with them is I'm always going to be fair. I'm always going to be kind, but I have very basic expectations, and one of them is that you don't quit.
Right.
You're not going to quit because of
I
a
like
little
that.
bump.
I like that. I'm gonna work on some things like that.
where does rub some dirt and get back in there?
when they get a little bit higher, when they get a bite. So like it's true of any. Like this isn't just kids either. Like there's grown adults that you have to approach different coaching techniques
you're telling
with.
me.
There's people that you say shut up. What? Get out of here. There's nothing wrong with you. Get out of my face. You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people that you have to put your hand on their shoulder and you have to listen to their stories and that's cool.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, I really like that technique you showed tonight. I think I'm going to try to use it. Great.
Good thing.
Okay, guys,
good
open
talk.
mat.
Good talk. But yeah, the coaching is very, very related to individual people's psychology. And great coaches, like good coaches can coach anybody, right? Great coaches know how to reach everybody. Great coaches know how to find out what this person needs to do to be motivated, what this person needs to do to be motivated. Same thing as with kids. Now, the babies are a little bit different. You got to get a little better read on the babies. And kids, like, you have to always eliminate the option that they're really hurt. Like that's one on every time, even if it's the most ridiculous thing, unless I know this kid's hurt all the time. They're crying about everything.
I made that mistake with my own son.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a rough
kid.
one.
Because my son was grappling. How old was Jake about then?
He had to have been like 10 or 11.
Oh, I think he was like 13, maybe.
Yeah, well, he was grappling, and you know how small Jake is. He's so skinny. And like his elbow was on the
Oh,
mat.
I watched it happen.
And somebody like fell onto his hand, and it broke.
His arm looked like a W.
But it didn't swell up. It was when I looked at it, it was fine. But Jake was just like, shaking, and I'm like,
How old was he?
he was like 11, 12, something like
yeah,
that.
preteen, early teen.
I said that's right about the age where you can be like, shut up.
No. So he wasn't crying. That's the thing. He was.
In shock?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I, because I've seen people get hurt at the
Right.
gym a lot. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
said-
you get used to that shit.
Right, and people always have a bad reaction at first.
Yeah.
And then they calm down a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
Well, he didn't have that. His was just like, oh, and then he was just like, just being really quiet. And I'm like, I don't know, but I think he's fine. I think he would be quite loud. He'd be crying. He'd be making more noise if it was really broken. And my wife, thankfully, ignored me, grabbed him, and brought him to like a walk-in clinic where they got an X-ray to find out he did have a fractured
Yeah.
wrist.
And
I felt about this big.
Dad of the Year award
Oh,
goes
my
to Sonny
God.
Barland.
Oh, I
I'm
felt
sure.
like this bit
I'm
was
sure
the
Karen
worst.
felt real good about
Oh,
it too.
yeah.
I'm sure you didn't eat any shit over that. for an
it
example.
wasn't. Kara's magnanimous. She wouldn't do that, right, honey?
Luckily, I haven't had any. I have no wood to knock on, but no
I've had
injuries
it.
in my kids' class.
Yeah,
That's not
I've
true.
been lucky
remember,
too.
Remember the girl who fell forward and
Oh, that was summer camp,
was
but
summer
that
camp.
was horrible.
Yeah.
Summer camp's like Lord of the Flies. You
There
can't
was
count
this
that.
girl.
Who's got the conch?
There was this girl that was 9 years old that was like no shit twice the size of me. She was like the same size as Sunny. She was running towards the edge of the mat and she was like trying to slow down, but she couldn't stop her own momentum.
Oh no!
her own momentum kept driving her forward.
It's like a boulder.
Yeah.
So when she tried to stop, she couldn't,
She leaned
and she fell forward.
She put her fucking head through the wall.
Oh my
And
God.
then broke her wrist on the bench. And
Oh
she
my
was
God.
like complaining about her wrist, and we're like, "Is your head okay though?" 'Cause
Yeah.
her head was.
Her head went through the wall,
Yeah.
but she was complaining about her wrist. Yeah,
But yeah, that was the only major injury. I did have a kid lose baby.
she got a
teeth in
cast
kids'
though.
class
She came
once,
back to
so.
summer camp.
Yeah, they kids just dropped their parents just dropped her right back off. She's fine. Put some dirt on it.
I have this little kid.
We don't want to deal with your shit at the house. We already paid for this fucking summer camp.
I have a little kid in my 530 class that is tough as nails. It's the 10-year-old girls I was talking about, his little brother. And one day there was this kid that was spazzing out on him, and he headbutted this little boy, and he lost his 2 front baby teeth. I thought he was going to cry, but he went in the bathroom, spit his teeth out, swished out his mouth, came back out, and I was like, let's go talk to mom real quick. He was like, no! And he like wanted to go back on the mat.
Yeah.
He went back on the mat, and he whooped that kid's butt.
Some of them,
Was that
like,
little Jake?
you gotta know what
God.
kids will do what. Some of them you gotta protect them from themselves, and some of them you gotta let them know, hey, bro, you're a little bit tougher than that. Like, but across the board, one of the most gratifying parts of any jiu-jitsu kids coach, and again, it's awesome when you get the kids that are like, holy shit, this kid is fucking awesome. This kid's gonna be great.
Watching a kid evolve,
But just
though.
watching a kid evolve,
Like
watching
a
someone,
kid that has no self-esteem,
Yep.
that has no
Yep.
physical, like,
100%.
you know, like watching
Someone that sat
happen.
in the corner and wouldn't talk to people or maybe picked on. Or, you know what I mean? We had to like drag him on the mat, didn't even walk in a room, that is now
I
socializing.
have a little kid like that just won his first competition.
Oh, it's
He
amazing.
Competed for the first time, won
Amazing.
gold. He had the best day ever. He
Amazing.
sat there and ate all the
and
snacks. his
and
dad
to
brought.
know
All
that
his
you
other
are a
friends
part
competed.
of that process is probably one of the greatest, most rewarding things on the planet. Because we do it with adults too. Adults do the same thing. I see adults come in, do the same shit. They turn that corner. But it's, I think, a little bit more gratifying when it's a kid.
Because you're changing their lives.
You're changing their lives.
The
And maybe the entire trajectory of their life. Maybe there's one day 20 years from now where they remember Coach Katie or Coach Sonny or Coach Kevin and like, I remember that.
Oh, hell
that
yeah.
helped me out.
I still
not
remember
just
my
that,
first
like-
karate sensei from when I was like 18 or whatever.
Was it Master Tim? Did he come back to visit?
For me, I say like all little girls should do jujitsu because I love the idea of the girls in my program growing up with such a strong sense of worth and confidence that nobody's going to take advantage of these girls.
Right.
No one's going to talk them into things they don't want to do.
Right.
Like I love what it's going to make them be as they grow older.
You know, yeah, I mean, I'm amazed at the fact that I can do it. I honestly, 100%, every time I go in there and I teach a kids class, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I have no idea how you can put me in a room. I got no kids, never had any kids. I have no idea how you can put me in a room with fucking 25-year-olds, 6-year-olds. And dude, I will have them little fuckers singing songs and clapping hands and doing arm bars and rolling and like hanging off of my every goddamn word. It's
I don't
pretty
allow
cool.
singing in my gym.
You just
No
have
singing.
to be entertaining as hell with those.
Yeah,
I have
it's a-
this one little kid that he tries so hard to stay focused, and I'll be talking to him, and his head will start going this way, but his eyes will be on me, and he'll slowly start drifting off. I'll be like, "Right here, bud. Come back.
Come back to me. Some of them play little games too. They like to freaking think they're smarter than you. They like to
You
think
can't let them think- no, you
whoa,
can't let them get away with
That's
that.
the biggest.
That's
the
how
biggest.
chaos
The
starts.
angriest I got with them was probably last week. I think I had a class and they were humming while I was teaching.
Oh nope.
And I was like, okay, guys, everybody pay attention, quit humming. And like a couple of them would quit humming, but you could tell like a couple of them were like, oh, we got our mouths closed. You can't see that we're humming. And I was like, all right, one more time, like no more humming. And that was it. I was like, all right, everybody against the wall. When I scream against the wall, they know they're in trouble. And I gave them the whole like, don't you guys know who I am? I'm a 3-time world champion. I teach you UFC fighters. My time is very valuable. When I ask you to be quiet, you need to be quiet, and that's all there is to it. Now you're going to sit there.
When I was at ADCC trials, Gordon Ryan took a picture of me.
Me, not you. Me.
My 7 to 10-year-old class tested me once, and they were being very, very noisy during my baby class, which you can't have that because those kids' attention span is like that of a squirrel.
Yeah, it's tough, right?
So 3 times I had one of the assistant coaches go tell them to be quiet in the other room, and they kept bringing the noise up. I was like, all right, fine. That's a decision that they made. So when their class time started, I made it the most grueling, horrible class. I mean, it was all rotational drilling. You had to be in a wall sit if you were on the wall. There was no butts on the floor. And if you were going to a station, you weren't walking, you were army crawling or you were bear crawling. I made that class as miserable as possible.
Yeah.
They wanted to throw up
That's
at the
what they
end.
get.
But guess how well behaved they've been since.
Absolutely. Our guest today has been Miss Kate Young. I thought it was a very nice guest. I was very pleased in hearing some of your thoughts on kids classes as a kids coach, someone that has a kindergarten background. Like, I'm always looking for pointers. I am going to do a better job of accountability. I think that we start hitting these kids up. I get lazy about that. But I think if we do a better job of making them, when they don't listen, they get 3 tries and they go sit. Because I put them in the corner, but I always let them back out again. Because I let them sit there and think about things.
No, follow through is everything, man.
That we're going to start
Follow-through
using
is
that
life.
ball game. As the only problem with me is I know myself well enough to know I'm going to come in there in a bad mood one day, and they're going to all be sitting there like, fuck, nobody's getting a fucking
But
ball
you know
game
what?
today.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is.
Don't like even
Right.
if you mess up and you
Right.
go too far with
That's
it.
right.
Stick by it.
And
it's better
because
to do that than to.
I will 100% tell them little shit some days. You guys need to. Coach Kevin is not in a happy mood today. This is not Coach Kevin. Ha ha ha.
See,
Let's talk about
That's an area that
frappuccinos.
I'm blessed though. I have an endless amount of
Yes,
patience.
you are pretty good about
I
that.
approach the kids with kindness at all times. Even if I'm telling them you don't get to play the game today, I say it. With
Oh,
a
I mean,
smile.
I don't yell at them like a bunch of drunks at a bar. But
Yes, true, Kate Young. You know, your patience cup is always half a full.
Very patient person.
So, Kate, is there anything you like to plug? Instagram, any ideas you want to talk about? Anything you got coming up or you're excited to mention here?
No, happy doing what I'm doing.
At Kate Young BJJ, right?
At Kate
At
Young.
Kate
I
Young
saw one of
BJJ.
your videos the other
On
day.
the
That was a
old Insta.
really nifty little escape from
So
the
that
gift
has
wrap. That
been
was impressive.
So good for me.
That
And
was
I've shown
impressive.
it to all of the
Yeah.
women, and
Yeah.
the women in our gym lately have been having great success.
That
with
is,
not having their back
I
taken.
really like that a lot. I might think about trying to put a little bit of that in my thought. That was a great entry. The great escape.
Well, Miss Kate Young, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
It really was a pleasure to have you on, Kate. We really enjoyed this. I know we talk shit a lot, but you were a lot of fun.
Hey,
And
I
you're
enjoyed
super
this.
pretty, so it makes everything great.
We do it for the likes. You know what I feel like I need?
What's that? An IV?
An IV.
Imagine that. I have one. I have the person for you, Sonny Parlin. Active Health and Wellness, company based out of the Trinity area. However, I guarantee you that Melinda, the owner, will travel to you anywhere you want. Miss Melinda Hart is always available to come direct to your house directly for a mobile IV. If you're dehydrated, you want a little energy boost, you need health, fitness, not feeling well, IVs are great vitamin infusions to make your body feel at its best. Sonny, don't you want to feel at your best?
I do. I
Then
do.
check out
I'm very,
Melinda.
Yeah, I'm very interested in having her come to my house, which apparently she makes house calls.
Makes house calls.
And I can just lay there on my couch while she sticks an IV in me, and I can just watch
A
TV
vitamin infusion.
and get my vitamins.
Miss Melinda Hart at activewellness.com. Katie,
Check her out.
check her out.